This video segment is designed to accompany a 9-page reopening plan for Hartford Christian School for the 2020-2021 school year. Let me start by saying I want to express my appreciation to those of you who participated in this survey. This survey was invaluable feedback for us regarding getting our finger on the pulse of our parent constituency with regard to opinions and attitudes in the midst of our COVID-19 context. I also want to thank a very diverse group of committee members comprised of staff members, parents, people from the medical community who participated in our reopening committee and continue to work in subcommittees as we now start to get down into the weeds. And I want to speak to you a little bit about that because this 9-page plan is a pretty 100-mile up view at the school's reopening. I think it will give you a good flavor for the trajectory of our reopening, especially as relating to the mitigation efforts that everybody's talking about, from face coverings to temperature taking to distancing. And it will speak to various aspects of the school program, probably more to let you know that we're thinking about these areas and still working, rather than leaving the impression that we might have an omission of some kind in our preparations. So with that said, I want to express to you our theme for the committee was to present, to develop, to form, to construct a reopening plan that would be both responsible and reasonable. And along the way, we have consulted with resources such as the CDC, the American Academy of Pediatrics, which we found to be a very useful and practical document regarding all aspects of student health, not just the physical side, but the emotional side and mental side as well. We consulted with many, many other Christian schools in Delaware, in North Carolina, in Maryland, in Pennsylvania, and I find many schools our size heading in a very similar direction as we have planned for our reopening. I also want to mention to you that there's still a lot of time between now and September 8th. And the words of James in the New Testament resonate to me when it's like we shouldn't be boasting about tomorrow, for we really don't know what a day will hold. So we recognize in an ever-changing landscape, the landscape regarding COVID-19 and the governor's direction regarding stay-at-home orders and things like that, these things could all change between now and September 8th. But as of right now, Hartford Christian School plans to reopen to all students 5 days a week for in-person, on-campus instruction. And we're excited about Christian education getting moving again on our campus. And we trust that this plan will give you some good idea regarding our direction and what that reopening will look like. Now, the reality is we're going to seek to maintain unity in our Christian community. And that means that we will not be permitting argumentation and opinion platforming, student to student, student to staff member to student. That's not going to be a part of our environment here. The fact is, I've never seen an issue within a like-minded group of people like our Christian community here at Reformation Bible Church and Hartford Christian School to be so polarized regarding opinions. Normally, like-minded groups of people tend to feel pretty similar on the opinion spectrum regarding an issue. But on this issue of reopening and mitigation efforts, what people should be, shouldn't be doing regarding mitigation, opinions are all over the place. And I think it's important in the context of maintaining unity that all of us embrace humility, recognizing that despite what we may think, our opinions are flawed and filled with error, just like the experts have been. And I think the second thing that is very important is that we maintain a considerate, others-minded approach as we come together in a reopening plan, so that we recognize that there are people who have medical involvements and they're elderly that need to be considered, and other people's opinions need to be considered as well. And the fact is, all of us could find a medical professional and a scientist that would absolutely support wherever we are on the opinion spectrum. So let's be considerate to one another in that regard. And our intention is to foster that spirit of unity and consideration among our students as we reassemble. So I trust this plan will be helpful to you. You will no doubt have additional questions. Please remember there is so much more information to come to you as we get down into the weeds of reopening. Things like athletics, what will we do with special events? What does the lunchroom look like? What will recess look like? What do we do about shared instructional resources and the disinfecting of those between uses? The term cohorting is something that's come on the radar screen, which means trying to keep similar groups of students together and not crossing paths with other students. There's a degree that we'll be able to do that, and there's a degree that would not be reasonable for our school environment to try to do that. So all of these things should be addressed in a kind of a big picture way, and much more information to come your way. So with that, I hope that you will be helped and assisted as you read this 9-page document. Thank you and good evening.